Good evening, Professor Jessica Clovis. My group, confirmed by Maribel Escala, Carmen Lescano, and Julio Santamaria, and me, Luis Acevedo, we want to talk about how the English arrived in Panama soil. First, in 1572, along with John Oxenham, who later became the first English speaker to navigate the Pacific Ocean in the Americas, landed on Panamanian soil. This marked the beginning of English-speaking influence in the region. 5 years after Drake's arrival, Oxenham achieved a historical feat by successfully crossing the Isthmus of Panama and navigating the Pacific Ocean. This not only highlighted the adventurous spirit of the English privateers, but also cemented this early presence of English speakers in the region. Now, English is a global language that has gained great importance in Panama. Although Spanish is the country's primary language, English is an official language and is widely used in business, the tourism industry, and education. In this sense, bilingual education has become a necessity for many Panamanians, as it gives them a competitive advantage in the labor market and allows them to interact with people from different cultures and countries. However, learning English in Panama faces significant challenges, ranging from a lack of resources and access to bilingual education to the gap in English proficiency among different population groups. While some people have access to high-quality bilingual education and can travel abroad to improve their English, others lack these resources and face significant barriers to learning the language.
Okay, hello teacher, my name is Maribel Escala. I am going to speak about the privateers that came to Panama. I'm going to speak especially two of them, William Parker and Henry Morgan, maybe the two most famous. I'm going to explain also the difference between the pirates and the privateers, because when we read the history, we read about pirates, but they're not the same, pirates and privateers, and I am going to explain you why. Okay, the first privateer that came to Panama was William Parker. William Parker was captured in the Portobello's town. This is a Spanish colonial town, and it was around 1601. And the action of Parker deepened the ties between English explanation and the Panamanian territories. Then came Mr. Henry Morgan, the most infamous of the privateers that came to the land. And why? Why he is the most infamous? Because he took all our wellness and wealth, and he made Panama ruined at this point, and it was synonymous of the presence in the region, making his name synonymous of the presence of the region. And his action influenced the Panamanian story, but also symbolized the expanding reach of the English language during the era of exploration or conquer. Okay, I am going to explain what is the difference between the pirates and the privateers. Okay, the privateers, they work with a permission of the government. The privateer refers to the term corsair, in Spanish corsario. Okay, and they work they have an authorization from the government, and this authorization was called the letter of marque. And this letter of marque granted him the legacy to conduct such kind of actions, for example, to attack the enemy vessel, and this was only during wartime that they can do that. And that was very interesting because we really don't know and we think it's the same name.
Hello, Professor. My name is Camila Escano, and I will talk about how the English language continued to influence Panama after it first arrived. Let's explore the lasting impact of English in our country. After the English privateers left, Panama became part of the Spanish Empire again, but English didn't disappear. The country stayed connected to English-speaking people because of trade, ports, and sea activity. That helped the English language stay alive in Panama for many years. In the 20th century, the United States controlled the Panama Canal Zone. During that time, many Americans lived and worked in Panama. Also, many workers from English-speaking Caribbean islands came to help build the canal. All of this made English even more common in the country. Today, English is still very important in Panama. People use English in tourism, business, and international jobs. Learning English helps Panamanians find better work and connect with people around the world. That's why it's one of the most important second languages in our country. In conclusion, English arrived in Panama over 500 years ago, but it never left. It grew with history and still helps our country today. English connects us with the world and is a big part of our past, present, and future.
How the English come to Panama? The English first came to Panama many years ago through privateers and traders, but things really changed when the Panama Canal was built. The United States led the construction and took full control of Canal Zone. They brought workers, engineers, and soldiers. Most one spoke English also. Many workers came from English-speaking islands like Jamaica, Barbados, and Trinidad. Because of this, English started to be used in many parts of Panama, especially near to canal. Was spoken in school, hospitals, offices, and the other public places in the canal zone. Why the English started in Panama? Even after the canal was finished, English remained important in Panama. The United States continued to control the canal zone for many years, and everything there's an English things, newspapers, documents, and school. Many Panamanians wanted jobs in the canal zone. Why English is still important today? Today, the English is important to the second most important language in Panama. Is used in many areas like international business, tourist education, and global communication. People who speak English have a better chance to find jobs and work in other works of tourists or study in other countries. That's why many schools in Panama teach English now. If though Spanish is other main language, English helps to connect with the world and give us more opportunities in the future. Thanks for listening.
On behalf of my group and myself, thank you, teacher, for listening to our speech and for sharing your knowledge with us. We really appreciate your time and guidance.